Order, please. The meeting is called to order. It seems informal consultation group came back to this room, and we are very much anxious to know the progress which you have achieved. So I recognize Honorable Ambassador of Mexico. Are you ready to take the floor and share the progress the informal group have made so far? Can I give floor to you, Madam?
Esteemed President, members of the informal group, after almost an hour, we took a little more time. We've had very good discussions, trying to understand fundamentally the position of two groups. We put various options for language on the table, and unfortunately we were unable to reach a consensus. So currently what we have is Mexico's proposal and the proposal from Saudi Arabia and Egypt. Those are the proposals that we have on the table now. And I'd like to thank everyone who participated in the consultations. I'd like to thank everyone for their contributions, the explanations of our starting points, where we're coming from, because I hope that will help us reach new consensus at this assembly itself and in future fora. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. We do appreciate hard work of informal working group, but regrettably, I heard that consensus was not reached. Therefore, as Madam Ambassador expressed now, and as I said earlier, at this point of time, there are two proposals on the table. One is one which was putting forward by honorable delegates of Saudi Arabia. Other one was putting forward by Mexico. There's two proposals of amendments. So, what we can do? I was briefed by Secretariat that easy question is answered by the chair, and difficult question is answered by the legal counsel. Therefore, I will invite legal counsel to answer such difficult questions. Floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. I don't know who advised you that, Chair, but it wasn't me. Thank you very much. Yes, what I will do is I will outline the procedure that our rules dictate we should follow in a situation such as this. As the Chair has already indicated, there are two sets of amendments on the table, those submitted by Saudi Arabia and those submitted by Mexico. And this is in addition to the draft decision which was proposed by the Executive Board and the version of the strategy of the 1st of May, which was the one submitted by the Secretariat to the Health Assembly. In accordance with Rule 65, when an amendment to a proposal is moved, the amendment must be decided first before we consider the proposal. And when, as in this case, two or more amendments to a proposal are moved, the Health Assembly must decide on the amendment deemed by the presiding officer, that's the chair, to be furthest removed in substance from the original proposal. That's the 1 May strategy. And then on the amendment next furthest removed until all the amendments have been decided. In this case, the Chair considers that the amendments proposed by Mexico to be furthest removed in substance from the original proposal, since they would change the action of the Health Assembly from adopting to taking note. Accordingly, the amendments proposed by Mexico would be considered first. The Chair would put them to the committee and ask whether the committee is ready to adopt those amendments. If no one objects, those amendments proposed by Mexico will be adopted by consensus. If a member state objects to the adoption by consensus, the committee will move to vote. In accordance with Rule 73, the Health Assembly normally votes by a show of hands, except that any delegate may request a recorded vote, a roll call vote. Unless a request is made for a recorded vote, a show of hands will take place. If the amendments proposed by Mexico are rejected, the committee will move on to the amendments proposed by Saudi Arabia. If the amendments proposed by Mexico are accepted, the committee will also move on to the amendments proposed by Saudi Arabia. It should, however, be noted that one of them is the same as one proposed by Mexico, i.e. deletion of the glossary. Since the glossary would already have been adopted under this scenario, only the other amendments proposed by Saudi Arabia would need to be considered, and they would likewise be considered as a group unless a member state requests to consider them separately in accordance with Rule 64. The Chair would put the amendments to the committee and ask whether the committee is ready to adopt them, and just as with the previous set of amendments, if no one objects, they would be adopted by consensus, and if someone objects, they would be put to the vote, and the same procedure would apply to decide whether we have a show of hands or roll call vote. After a decision on the amendments, or that set of amendments has taken place, the committee will consider the decision and the strategy either amended or unamended, as the case may be. If there is no objection, the committee will adopt it by consensus. And if the member state requests for a vote, the committee will proceed to a vote on the decision and the strategy as amended or unamended. And that would follow the same process as before. Once a decision has been made, that decision will then be reported by the committee to plenary. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This is a procedure which is defined by rule of procedures. I recognize Egypt to take the floor. Egypt, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a small question. I think the proposal from Mexico is regarding a resolution. So if we are asking or we are voting on the resolution, what is the meaning? If we accept the resolution proposed by Mexico might be accepted. Does this mean that we accept the content and the implication? I mean, we took note of the strategy. Which strategy? We didn't. We still have an amendment proposed. So I don't know the procedure. It's the resolution. We're talking about the resolution. Thank you. Just clarification, and because it might, if we accept the resolution, so we accept the strategy in one way or another, taking note or adapting or whatever. So I don't understand the procedure in this regard. Thank you.
Legal counsel, please.
Thank you. This is why we look at the amendments first before we then turn to actually adopt the resolution and the strategy as amended or unamended. So we will look at the two sets of amendments. Any amendments that are accepted will then be incorporated into the text, which will be put before the committee for adoption. So if the Mexican amendments are accepted, that doesn't mean that the committee has at that point adopted the resolution. It has only agreed to the amendments proposed by Mexico. Likewise, when we come to the amendments proposed by Saudi Arabia, if any of those are accepted, they will be accepted, and then we will look at the resolution and the strategy as amended or unamended, depending on what has happened. So the actual adoption of the decision and the accompanying strategy will only take place at the end, at that third step.
Thank you. I think everyone is clear about the procedure. Therefore,
Yes.
Excuse me.
Oh, Monaco.
Monaco, you have the floor.
Je suis désolée.
I apologize. I'm probably very ill. But I didn't quite get the clarifications by the legal advisor because I thought that the proposal by Mexico was part of a package that is a project, a draft amended decision with a return to the strategy text as proposed by the Secretariat on the 1st of May. And on the other hand, we had an amendment put forth by Saudi Arabia and Egypt regarding a footnote, and where no amendment is involved, so it's also a form of a package, in the form of a package, and no draft decision is involved. So perhaps I'm missing something out, but could we please have another round of clarifications? That would be very helpful. Thank you.
Legal counsel.
Thank you. Yes, let me try and make it clear. I know it's a complex process. The waiver rules require us to proceed is to look first at the amendments. So the amendments which were proposed by Mexico were amendments principally to the decision, but it also included the amendment to delete the glossary. So there are amendments to the draft decision proposed by Mexico, as well as including in that package the deletion of the glossary. If those amendments are accepted, then that does not mean that the decision is accepted. What it means is those amendments have been accepted, and we would in a second round look to see whether we accept the decision as amended and the strategy as amended. Same with the Saudi Arabian proposed amendments. Those are amendments to the strategy, inserting footnotes and deleting the glossary. We will decide whether to accept the Saudi Arabian amendments. If we do, we would still have to go ahead and adopt the decision and the strategy as amended. So we look at the amendments which are proposed first, and then we take action on the draft decision and strategy with any amendments which have been accepted. I hope that's clear.
Okay, so let us proceed. As legal counsel explained, let us consider the amendment proposed by Mexico first. Egypt, you have the floor.
Your Excellency, with the many votings that we are going to have, may I ask for 2 minutes suspension just to organize our group's position regarding the votings and this kind of decisions that we are going to have? It's only 2 minutes. We didn't know that we're going to have 4 votings, actually, probably.
I'm afraid with your consensus or your group thinking, I think we need to go. Therefore, I'd like to still propose to consider amendment proposed by Mexico. Is it generally agreeable for the committee? I see nodding heads. So permit me to go, regrettably, to honorable delegates of Egypt. I would like to still propose to you, are you ready to consider the amendment proposed by Mexico? Yes, let's consider it. Therefore, may I formally propose to the committee, where the committee is is agree the amendment proposed by Mexico. I see no objection. Excuse me. I recognize Saudi Arabia. You have the floor.
It is just a question. If both amendments have been accepted, which one we are going to adopt?
So this is a rather simple question in my view. Please correct me. All of them. So that is what I understand. If we adopt two amendments, that is what my simple understanding, legal counsel.
Yes, that's correct. We'll consider the first set of amendments. If they are adopted, they're adopted. We'll then consider the Saudi Arabian amendments. If they are adopted, obviously there's one which is the same, so we wouldn't consider the deletion of the glossary a second time. But it's quite possible for the two footnotes to be inserted into the text, as well as the amendments proposed by Mexico. So if both are agreed, all the amendments will be included in the text that we then decide whether to adopt at the end of the evening.
Thank you. I received a request from Egypt. You would like to take the floor?
Yes, I would just replying to your question, Your Excellency, about do we accept the Mexican proposal? I was just saying no.
So Egypt is saying no.
So thank you. So I understand that we therefore need to have a vote.
So I think we need to go for vote, and I would propose as normal practice, vote by showing hands, or I think that seems to be a difficult question. So, legal counsel, floor is yours.
It's not a difficult question, but the chair has indicated that we are to move to a vote on the question of the Mexican proposals. Under Rule 73, the vote is normally by a show of hands, as I've explained, unless a delegation requests a recorded vote. A recorded vote conducted without electronic means is conducted by roll call. When voting by show of hands, delegations are asked to raise their nameplates to indicate firstly whether they wish to vote in favour of the proposal under consideration, then whether they wish to vote against the proposal, and finally whether they wish to abstain. No record is kept of which members have voted in favour of or against the proposal, and this is by contrast to a roll call vote, which entails each member being called upon in turn to indicate how they wish to vote. The vote of each member is recorded.
I invite delegates of deputy to take the floor.
Thank you, Chair. And I just I'm raising my nameplate just to have clarification on the procedures. Who is calling for the vote? From what I understand is that there is no consensus. But who is calling for the vote?
What I understand is Egypt object, therefore we need to go for vote. But normally that is raising hands. So that is what I have heard from legal counsel.
Djibouti asks.
Djibouti.
Thank you, Chair, for that clarification. But from from the objection, the question was posed by you to the floor on knowing if we can accept the proposal. And Egypt said no. So this indicates that there is no consensus. But who is requesting a vote on the proposal of Mexico? Who is calling the vote?
If you give me the floor.
Legal counsel, please.
Thank you. Perhaps I can just explain that the rules of procedure in WHO do not provide for someone to have to call for a vote. The voting is the norm. I mean, we don't do it, but under the rules, voting is the normal type way we make decisions. So the rules provide for us to proceed by voting unless we have consensus. And so the chair has checked whether there is consensus. There is no consensus. So in order to take action, we have to move to a vote. In WHO, it's not necessary for a vote to be formally called. It's only necessary for the chair to put the proposal to the committee and for consensus to be blocked. Then we automatically move to a vote.
Djibouti?
Just to be clear, and I thank the legal advisor, but what is the precedent that it's quoted? Because I understand it's the first time we are doing in such a document. So what is the precedent to setting and to have the chair or the podium call for a vote? And we need to be correct in terms of the procedures if we want to move ahead. Thank you.
Legal counsel again.
Thank you. This is the whole premise of the way the rules of procedure are drafted. When an amendment to a proposal is moved, the amendment shall be voted on first, and throughout the rules of procedure, wherever decision-making is mentioned, it is described as voting. Consensus is, according to the rules of procedure, the secondary way of us taking our decisions. So the rules are very clear. We move to a vote in order to reach a decision, but we can, if we prefer not to do that, move to consensus. So if there is no consensus, it's not the chair moving that there be a vote, it's the chair saying that there is no consensus, and therefore, in order to take a decision, in accordance with the rules of procedure, we vote.
I think, honorable delegates of Djibouti, I think it's clear. I wonder whether honorable Ambassador of Mexico would like to take the floor now.
Gracias, señor presidente.
Thank you, Chair. And I thank the legal advisor for providing us with an explanation. Even with the explanation, we have the feeling that there is not clarity on the procedures, and we would like to ask for 5 minutes to discuss amongst ourselves if we have clearly and precisely understood the rules of procedure. Thank you, Chair.
I am afraid that our legal counsel have explained and fairly clearly. I would request him to repeat again, but we need to move. Therefore, legal counsel, please explain slowly, gently, and clearly. Thank you.
Okay. As I explained, this is a different procedure than may apply in some other organisations. The rules of procedure that the Health Assembly has adopted during the...
Excuse me. Order, please. Order, please. Legal counsel is explaining. Order, please. Legal counsel is explaining. Please continue.
Thank you. Thank you. I would refer you to the section of the Rules of Procedure, Conduct of Business at Plenary Meetings, which is Rule 49 onwards, and Voting in Plenary Meetings, which is Rules 69 onwards. These are the provisions that explain how our decisions are taken. The way it's explained in Rule 69 is that each member shall have one vote in the Health Assembly, and it explains what that means. Decisions by the Health Assembly on important decisions shall be made by a 2/3 majority of the members present and voting. That is Rule 70. And then Rule 72 provides that decisions on questions including other than important matters shall be made by a majority of the members present and voting. So the rules are clear that decisions are made by a majority of those present and voting. That's either 2/3 for important questions, which are explained in the Constitution, and a majority for others. The exception under the rules of procedure is where we proceed other than by a vote. Now, it's an exception in the rules, but in practice, it is the way we tend to go ahead. What that means is that the default is a vote. If we have consensus, then we do not need to proceed to a vote. But once the chair puts a matter to the committee to take a decision will take that decision by vote unless the committee can reach consensus. The chair has been very clear in asking the committee whether there is consensus, and it is clear that there is not consensus on the Mexican proposals. Therefore, under the rules of procedure, the committee takes a decision by a majority of those present and voting, and it does so by a vote. That vote will be a show of hands vote unless a roll call vote is requested by a delegation.
Thank you. I think Algeria requested the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Just a question to also clarify, perhaps by the legal counsel. When the situation is as it is now, and a member state is willing to propose for the matter to be deferred to a future time for deliberation, which will that also be voted for first, or it will be voted for last? Thank you.
Thank you. I'm afraid I called Algeria, but it was misunderstood, but that's all right. So I invite Algeria to speak. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Algeria withdraw their request. Yes, legal counsel.
Just a second. Give me a moment.
Yes. Legal counsel.
Thank you. Nigeria, I think your question was how would we proceed if somebody wants to propose deferral, I think is how you put it. There are motions that can be used under our rules of procedure. These are set out in the section Conduct of Business at Plenary Meetings, where there are a number of motions, including a motion that can be made to adjourn the debate on an item under discussion, that's Rule 60, or indeed to close the debate under Rule 61. Those are motions that our rules of procedure allow to be made. If they are made, then they are dealt with before any other proposals or motions are looked at. And the order in which they would be looked at is set out in Rule 62. So motions can be made to adjourn the debate on an item under discussion. They can also be made to close the debate on an item under discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. I think this is, I'm afraid that I need to ask legal counsel consequences of such decisions. So is it influencing of what on the table? I'm honoring hard work and lot of thought devoted by Mexico and informal group, discussion group, and also Saudi Arabia. So are they still subject to be considered once? So that is my question to you.
Yes.
Legal counsel.
Well, it depends which motion we're talking about. So there are actually 4 motions which are possible under the rules of procedure. Rule 59 contains 2 of them. That's a motion to suspend the meeting, or to suspend or adjourn the meeting, or suspension of the debate. Let me just. Sorry. So suspension of the meeting would be that we would suspend the meeting and come back at a time later. Of course, there's very little time to do that. Adjournment of the meeting means that we close this meeting and we come to the next meeting, although for this session there are no further meetings. A motion to adjourn the debate on the item under discussion has the effect of closing down discussion and no vote takes place, so no action would be taken on any of the proposals before. That was the Rule 60 proposal, motion to adjourn the debate on the item under discussion. The Rule 61 motion to close the debate on the item under discussion would close the discussion, but we would move straight to the decision making, which we're already at. So a motion under Rule 61 would simply take us straight to the decision making.
Nigeria, you have the floor, and after that, I would like to propose my proposal for you to consider. Nigeria, you have the floor.
Thank you once more, Chair. So the proposal or the question I just asked was not on the table before, because the idea was if there was an objection to moving forward, there will be a vote. And so now that I've made this, I've asked this question and we've received an answer, is it possible to give even 5 minutes so states can also reconsider and, we can move ahead? Is it possible? And consult briefly. Thank you.
So I think I would like to propose committee, if I take a 5-minute suspension, I think procedurally you are going to buy a ticket of non-stop train. It's all right? Because I think we have barely less than 4 hours before turn of the day, and we need to close World Health Assembly by midnight. That is decided by the plenary, what I understand. So I suspend 5 minutes exact, and we will resume after 5 minutes. So I put traffic light.
Yeah, because that's right.
Order, please. Order, please. Already 7 minutes has passed, so please return your seats.
So what was Lesotho saying to you?
Are you ready to be engaged with discussion? There is some exchange of questions and answers, and thank you, legal counsel. I think you have provided explanation, and I understand that you have understood the procedures. So therefore, I would like to ask whether any delegations would like to request the vote by conduct by way of a roll call rather than a show of hands. Any delegations wish to go for roll call vote? Placard? I see none.
Okay.
Therefore, we go for voting by show of hands. So decided. Thank you very much. So, what we are voting for?
Thank you.
That is important. Excuse me. That is important to be clarified. What you are going to make decision. That is very important.
So I've got the text of the. No, I wanted the Mexican proposal. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. It is indeed important that we are clear on what we're voting on. We are voting on the proposals put forward by Mexico and circulated by the Secretariat earlier today by way of an email by way of email. So those are the amendments to paragraph 1 of the draft decision on this item, the insertion of a new paragraph 2 on this item, and the deletion of the glossary from the strategy. So that is what we are voting on. The vote will be conducted by way of a show of hands. When the voting begins, delegations will be invited to identify which of their members will cast the vote for the delegation. As soon as voting is opened, the President, the Chair, will invite delegations to raise their nameplates if they wish to vote in favour of the Mexican amendments. The Chair will then invite delegations to raise their nameplates if they wish to vote against the Mexican amendments. And finally, the Chair will invite delegations to raise their nameplates if they wish to abstain. It is important that delegations keep their nameplates raised until the Chair indicates that they may be lowered. This is to ensure that the Secretariat is able to accurately carry out the counting. If you lower your nameplate too soon, your vote may not be counted. The Secretariat will keep a record of the number of votes in favour of and against the proposal, as well as the number of abstentions. In the interests of both accuracy and efficiency in the counting of the show of hands, the Secretariat has prepared maps of the room, dividing it into 3 sectors. Each sector will be counted by a team of 2 members of the Secretariat staff who will check their count against each other before reporting the results to the podium for an aggregation and President to the Chair. Accordingly, you will shortly see positioned through the room these teams of Secretariat staff. After all Member States entitled to vote and wishing to do so have voted, there will be a short pause while the votes are collated before the Chair announces the result. I would like to recall that delegations wishing to make brief statements of an explanation of vote will be given an opportunity to do so after the result of the vote has been announced. So.
Thank you. Please, would Secretariat take up their positions in the room to count the vote. Before proceeding with the vote, I should like to remind all delegations that proceedings may be interrupted only for point of order connected to the actual conduct of the vote. Any such point of order or other questions relating to the conduct of the vote must be raised before the result of the vote are announced. I should also invite delegations to remain seated throughout the voting.
Thank you. I will now read the names of those members that are not entitled to vote. They are Afghanistan, Comoros, Equatorial Guinea, Gambia, Somalia, South Sudan, Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela.
Which country?
I beg your pardon?
Jamaica, point of order.
Thank you, Chair. No, this is not a point of order, Chair, but just to say that we're not aware of any precedent for this type of vote, and we're a little bit concerned. In addition to that, member states have very little time to consult, and we're just wondering what additional time would we be able to have? Would we be able to have an additional 5 minutes? It would be very useful. Just asking.
Honorable delegates of Jamaica, I'm afraid that we have time. Therefore, I think with your permission of the committee, I would like to proceed. Please accept my apologies. So, legal counsel, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will read out the list again. This is the list of those members who are not entitled to vote. It's Afghanistan, Comoros, Equatorial Guinea, Gambia, Somalia, South Sudan, Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, Yemen, Niue, Myanmar, and the Solomon Islands. These member states just mentioned are kindly requested not to raise their nameplates during the vote.
Thank you very much, legal counsel. Are there any questions directly relating to the conduct of the vote? I see none. Therefore, I declare that voting is opened on the following proposals put forward by Mexico. So, I declare the voting is opened.
Have we got other teams?
Secretariats
Wait.
in positions? Yes.
Yes, okay. Have we got one in the middle? Where's the middle one? Oh, there. Okay, yes. Okay, yes. So you begin.
So secretariats are ready.
Those delegations.
Therefore, those delegations wishing to vote in favor of Mexican amendment, please raise your name cards, name plates, and keep them raised until I give signal to lower them.
Wait till I'll get a signal from them to let me know that they're done, and then you can tell them to lower. But Okay, so it's just this one.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Finish? Finish?
Yes, so tell them to come down.
Thank you very much. You may lower your nameplates. Thank you very much. I now invite those delegations wishing to vote against Mexican amendments to raise their nameplates and keep them raised until I give signals to lower them. Those who are wishing to vote against. I will repeat again. I now invite those delegations wishing to vote against. Please raise your name plates. From my seat, I see none. All right. Excuse me. Counting closed is all right?
Nothing to count.
Only one.
Okay, yeah.
Please lower your name plates. Thank you. I now invite those delegations wishing to abstain to raise their name plates and keep them raised until I signal to lower them. Abstention. I'm inviting abstention. Those who wish to abstain, please raise hand.
So yeah, so forth. Then there will be absent also. But it doesn't transmit.
Okay?
I'm just checking. Yeah.
Finish?
Yeah, we're
Finish?
okay. Yeah.
Thank you very much. You may lower your name plates. I declare that the voting is closed. Secretariat will now proceed to collect the votes. This process may take some time, and I would like all delegations to remain seated. The result will be announced very soon. Thank you. I received result of your voting. I will read slowly. Number of members with the right to vote, 183. Number of members with the right to vote, 183. Number of members absent, 95. Number of members absent, 95. Number of members absent, number of members present and voting, 58. Number of abstention, 30. Number of vote in favor, 58. Number of vote against, 0. Therefore, the amendment are adopted by 58 votes to 0 with 30 abstentions. That is the result. I thank you.
Now you put the Saudi to them, so you should read this. Okay.
Amendment proposed by Mexico are therefore adopted. Now the committee will move on to amendment proposed by Saudi Arabia. It should be noted that one of them is the same as one proposed by Mexico. That is a deletion of the glossary. So, is the committee is ready?
Just continue reading.
Since glossary would have already been adopted, only the other amendments proposed by Saudi Arabia would be voted on. They would be voted as a group unless the member states request to vote on them separately in accordance with WHO Rule 64.
Okay, so Norway.
Norway, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair, and I'm sorry for slowing down this process that you are leading so elegantly. My question is, if the committee votes yes for both of the proposals, both of the amendments presented, what will be the procedure then? Thank you.
Legal counsel.
Thank you. Well, we've already voted in favor of the Mexican proposals, so there are two aspects of the Saudi Arabian proposal that remain to be looked at, because one of the three aspects of the Saudi Arabian proposal, the deletion of the glossary, was also included in the Mexican proposal and has therefore already been adopted. So if the committee votes in favor of the adoption of the two remaining aspects of the Saudi Arabian proposal, the two footnotes, which are the aspects of that which remain, would therefore be included in the strategy as adopted, or as will be taken note of now by the Assembly a little later this evening. I hope that answers the question.
Which?
Singapore, I think.
Singapore? Would you like to take the floor?
In addition to the two footnotes, if we vote yes for the Saudi Arabian proposal, it would also revert the resolution to adopt rather than to take note of, no? Or take note on the table right now?
Legal counsel.
Thank you. No, that won't happen. The Saudi Arabian proposal, let me just get it so that we have it clearly. The Saudi Arabian proposal had three aspects to it. Number one was the deletion of the glossary. That's already been achieved. Number two was adding a footnote to the concept of sexual orientation on page 14. So that footnote would be added. And the third would be adding a footnote to the reference to the International Technical Guidance on Sexuality Education on page 24. So those two footnotes would be adopted. The strategy would otherwise be unchanged, and the decision would be would be subject to the amendments already made, already agreed to by the committee and proposed by Mexico. So it would be the take notes. Thank you. China, I think.
Yes, I invite China to take the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for giving me the floor. I apologize for delaying the conference. I would like to seek a clarification. There are 183 countries who have the right. There are 95 countries who are absent. So 88 countries have voted. So I would like to confirm with you whether we have already reached the quorum. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Point is that one's not include people who are present who just didn't vote. Yeah, I can answer that question.
Yes, legal counsel, please.
Thank you. I can answer that question. I think it's perhaps the way we announce the results slightly misleading. When we talk about 95 being absent, that would include those members who are in the room but did not raise their nameplates either for a yes, a no, or an abstention. So those who were in the room and simply did not participate in the vote are sort of marked as absent from the vote, but they are present for a quorum. Thank you. I hope that answers the question.
China again, I give the floor to you.
I would like to seek further clarifications, Mr. President. Those who have been present and who did not vote, whether they are clear about the situation. Because I'm asking this question because there will be an impact on their position and on their views regarding this issue. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Well, we explained the rules of the game at the start in some detail, and I think the chair took us through them again in some detail and gave every delegation a clear and rather lengthy opportunity to raise their nameplates for each of the three aspects. It is the sovereign right of any member state sitting here not to participate in a vote, not to raise their nameplates. It's not for the Secretariat or indeed the chair to question that. They're entitled to do so. And we can only count the numbers that we have. So the numbers that you read are not indicative of whether there is a quorum present or not, because, as I say, the number of members that we read out as being absent are 95, but that includes those who are genuinely absent and those who are simply not participating in the vote at all. So I think that is clear to all delegations. The vote has now closed, so there's no way to go back to it in any event. The result has been closed and announced by the chair. So I think that's clear to everyone. It will be clear certainly going forward now that we've had these additional clarifications. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that explanation is satisfactory to China and Monaco. You have the floor.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur. I thank you, Chair, and my apologies for taking the floor once more. But I think I have understood that we should vote first of all on Mexico's proposal and then on that of Saudi Arabia and Egypt, and then we would have a third vote on the final decision to be taken. Have I completely understood?
Yes. Is it too simple to you? Yes. Thank you.
It's much better. Okay.
So in that case, may we proceed to move on to the amendment proposed by Saudi Arabia? Are you in agreement to do the same? It's all right? I see no objection, so I will proceed accordingly.
Okay. So we will proceed to a vote. So we proceed to a vote on the question of.
Is this? Legal counsel is advising we do the exactly same things. So formally, I would ask whether Saudi Arabia, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. The quorum, I think, is 50 plus, huh? So what is our quorum? Do we have a quorum? The exists members who voted, have they reached the quorum or not?
Yes, legal counsel.
Thank you. The quorum for this meeting is 96 for voting. That's 50% plus, I beg your pardon, 50% plus 1. Quorum is 96. Since you've requested a quorum count, that's how I understood you to be requesting. The Secretariat will now proceed to count to verify that we have a quorum in place. While this is taking place, I would invite every member state to remain behind their name card so that we can verify that.
Saudi Arabia.
I'm asking about the quorum on the amendments yeah. Did we reach on the amendments of Mexico? Did we reach the quorum or not yet?
Yes, legal counsel, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you. The results of the voting do not disclose whether there was a quorum or not. As I explained before, in respect of the earlier question, because of the way the votes are counted, it's not possible to establish firmly whether there was or the votes don't disclose that themselves. What we did was we checked a quorum at the beginning of the meeting, and if any member state wishes to question the quorum, then we will do as we would do now if you asked us to, which is to check the quorum. So yes, there was a quorum during the meeting, which has carried on.
Saudi Arabia, is it? Yes, you have the floor again.
I need to know what is the limit. How many countries should vote for the amendments to be adopted? Even some countries, they are here, but they did not vote. They did not raise the flag either with or against, so they are counted to be absent. They did not participate in this vote. So the quorum is among those who said yes or no or abstain.
Legal counsel, please.
Thank you. I think I misunderstood what you were asking, Saudi Arabia. I think what you're asking, correct me if I'm wrong, is what is the majority required? How many need to vote in favor and how many vote against? The required majority is a simple majority of the members present and voting. And that is a majority of those who vote either yes or no. We do not count abstentions and we do not count those who are absent in establishing that. So there were, I think, 58 member states who voted yes or no. In fact, they all voted yes. So you needed a majority of 58 on that vote for the motion to be carried. And of course, it was 58-0. So the actual majority required would have been 29. Thank you.
Thank you. Egypt, I recognize you. Please take the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, according to the classification of the legal for the voting, it's either accept, yes, refuse, no, abstain, and absent. Absent is absent. Or you want to say absent for voting and present for not voting? I don't understand. My question is that right now we are going to count for the quorum. And my question is why we didn't do that before the first voting. Thank you.
Legal counsel.
So which was the first question list? Thank you. The practice in the Health Assembly is not to proactively count for a quorum unless requested to do so by a member state. So if any member state seeks to challenge whether a quorum is present, a quorum count is taken, but it is not done proactively. So that's the consistent practice before all the votes that we do. You did, however, hear at the beginning of our session that the chair checked whether a quorum was present. We do not have a dynamic system of checking who's coming in and out of meetings. If the meeting considers that the quorum may have dropped, then a separate quorum count can be taken. Thank you.
Saudi Arabia.
I think the quorum must be 50 plus 1. Half of the members of who has the right to vote, half of them should be.
Yes, legal counsel, please.
Thank you. I can answer that question. In some bodies, that would be the case, that you would need to have a majority of the members, full stop. That is not what is in our rules of procedure. Rule 69 provides that each member shall have one vote in the Health Assembly. For the purposes of these rules, the phrase members present and voting means members casting a valid affirmative or negative vote. Members abstaining from voting are considered as not voting. And the required majority in this case is set out in Rule 72, which says, except as stipulated otherwise in these rules, decisions on other questions, that's questions that don't require a 2/3 majority, shall be made by a majority of the members present and voting, which, as defined in Rule 69, is those members who are present and voting and, who are cast a valid affirmative or negative vote. So the majority is a majority of those who vote yes or no. All other numbers are ignored. So abstentions, absence are not counted towards that figure, as defined in Rule 69 of our Rules of Procedure. And that can be the case even if that number is less than 50% of the members who are entitled to vote. That's why we tell you at the beginning how many members are entitled to vote, and we also tell you what the combined number of those absent. And yes, you're right, we should say it's those absent and those who are present but not voting, but we will do that for the next round. Thank you.
Egypt, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, actually, the legal said the practice. Well, I don't understand what's the meaning of the practice. Is there a precedent, recorded precedent in this regard? I don't know. Is there something in the rules of procedure saying that the quorum must be asked so we can count? I don't know. Anyhow, again, there was a question, or there is a statement said by the legal that the quorum is 96, I think. Yes. Do you have a proof of that? That's my question.
Legal counsel?
Thank you. Well, when I said the quorum is 96, that's how many members need to be present for there to be a quorum. So that's the question. If a quorum is being challenged, we can take a quorum count at this stage.
Thank you. May I ask Mexico, and I propose to move. Mexico, you have the floor.
Gracias, señor. Thank you, Chair. Thank you for all the interventions we've had. I think it's been clear, following all the explanations we've had from the legal counsel, that the subject of quorum and of the countries that have a right to vote, that has all been clearly explained. I would propose that we move to voting on Saudi Arabia and Egypt's proposal, since all of these questions on quorum should have been posed earlier. But I think we really haven't got very much time, and the ideas in the room are very clear, and I suggest we move on to the voting. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much.
Egypt.
Egypt, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, because I have heard it many times, the proposal of Saudi Arabia and Egypt's proposal. It's Saudi Arabia on behalf of the EMRO. Thank you, for the record. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. So let us proceed. But please bear with me, because of procedure issue, I will raise the same, follow the same steps. First, we will consider amendment proposed by Saudi Arabia and on behalf of EMRO member states. Is there any objections to adopt by consensus?
Yes.
I see civil flag. Yes, Netherlands. Netherlands, you have the floor.
Okay. Let's say you only need one.
Netherlands is saying that we need both. So, as far as one delegates would like to vote, I think, legal counsel, please correct me if I'm wrong. I think we have no choice to not to go for the voting. Okay, so we will go for voting, as we did for Mexican amendment. Is it agreeable for committee to go for voting by raising nameplates? Any objections? So decided.
Okay.
So
Yeah. So I'll read out.
yeah,
If you,
yes, I'll leave to legal counsel to explain.
Thank you. So, thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Chair. A vote has been requested on the proposals moved by Saudi Arabia, as I understand it, on behalf of EMRO member states. This vote will be conducted by way of a show of hands. And as the President has already explained, the first element of the Saudi Arabian proposal relating to the glossary is not part of the vote, since that has already been accepted. So this vote is on the second and third aspects of the Saudi Arabian and EMRO proposal to add 2 footnotes to the strategy. As I say, this vote will be conducted by way of a show of hands. Thank you. I think Egypt has a point of order.
Yes, Egypt, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Excellency. On the issue of removing the first one, because if you recall, Your Excellency, that the legal said that the amendment is different than the resolution. So yes, we accepted, the room accepted the amendment, but not yet accepted the resolution. So I think we need to insist on our proposal having the glossary to be removed as part of the EMRO resolution. EMRO amendment, please.
Accepted.
Honorable delegates of Egypt, I understand that already decision was made to accept to delete glossary part by adapting Mexican amendments. Therefore, I think we can move ahead. Egypt, you have the floor.
Your Excellency, I will tell the situation as a story, small story. I won't take much of the time. Right now we accepted an amendment to the Mexican amendment. Yes, and then we might have a voting over the resolution after being amended, which means that amendment of the resolution is different than amendment of the text itself. This is different than this, and we might have a possibility that the resolution with the amendment of Mexico after the Mexican amendment might be refused. It's a possible, which means that you are putting our amendment under risk because we think that we have accepted the amendment. This is different than this. Thank you.
Thank you. I think your point I understand, and legal counsel, can you help me in explaining it to you?
Thank you. I think there may be a misunderstanding. We have accepted the Mexican amendment to the text. We will now consider the Saudi Arabian and Emiro amendments to the text, and after that, we will vote on the draft resolution and the strategy with all the amendments which have been accepted. So it's not the case that we will vote separately on the resolution as amended by the Mexican amendment and then separately on the resolution as amended by the Saudi Arabian and Emiro amendments should they be accepted. We will look at all the amendments, and at the end we will take all the amendments which have been accepted into account, and we will vote on the resolution as amended.
Algeria, you have the floor.
Merci, Monsieur.
Thank you, Chair. It's very late and we're still discussing a topic that should conclude our work. I think that the Egyptian colleague raised the question. I think maybe not everybody understands it very well. The Egyptian colleague said the following. We adopted the Mexican text. The 3 references were adopted. Now, in the presentation, what I understood from the Egyptian colleague is that we will not vote on them because they haven't been accepted. We will only vote on one amendment. They're asking to vote on the package because I think I understood, and this is the question which comes. We have accepted the Mexican package. If we reject the package proposed by Saudi Arabia, we will be in a conflictual situation. This is the problem. There are 2 of the 3 that were accepted, and if we reject the package, there will be a conflict because we have accepted 3 of 3 and we rejected 2 of the 3. This is the question before us. I don't know whether you've understood me.
Refuser l'amendement.
Rejecting the amendment proposed by Saudi Arabia will annul the 2 of the 3 proposals made by Mexico. This is just to be clearer.
Yes. Legal counsel.
Thank you. The Mexican proposals have already been agreed. So the 3 aspects of the Mexican amendment, I beg your pardon, have been agreed by the committee. And so when we come to vote on the resolution later today and the strategy, then the 3 aspects of the Mexican proposal, the Mexican amendment, will be included in that, irrespective of what happens in response to the Saudi Arabian, the vote on the Saudi Arabian and Emiro aspects. So if you accept the Saudi Arabian and Emiro amendments, then in addition to the 3 amendments made under the Mexican amendments, there would be 2 additions, the two footnotes. If you reject the Saudi Arabian and Emiro amendments, then there would still be 3 amendments left to the resolution that we vote on, the three which we agreed under the rubric of the Mexican amendments. So even if you vote on and reject the three aspects of the Saudi Arabian proposal, it does not negate anything that's already been agreed by the committee under the Mexican amendments. So the Mexican proposal to delete the glossary will be part of the decision that you make at the end of the evening relating to the adoption or otherwise of the resolution as adopted and of the strategy of the resolution as amended and of the strategy as amended. And that amendment to the strategy at the moment consists of deletion of the glossary. So even if you vote no to the Saudi Arabian amendments, it will not reverse the decision that we've already made to include those amendments in the text that we vote on later today. I hope that's clear.
I hope it is clear. Egypt, you have the floor.
I hope I understood well. In all cases, it's agreed to remove the glossaries, even if we did not accept the resolution in its current form. It will be voted, and we might say no to the resolution. But in all cases, the glossary is removed. Is this what I understand? Thank you.
Yes. Legal counsel.
Okay. The glossary, no action has yet been taken in respect of the strategy or the decision, because that will only take place at the end of the evening. So it is technically feasible that we could get to the end of the evening and the resolution as amended could be defeated in a vote or just not accepted by the committee. That is still possible. If that happens, then all the amendments fall as well. Nothing is adopted. Nothing would be adopted if we don't adopt the resolution and the strategy at the end of the evening or take note of them.
Thank you for your understanding. Shall we proceed? I have asked whether the committee is ready to go for voting by raising placards. Yes, Egypt, you have the floor.
Again, Your Excellency, you just said that there is a possibility that we refuse the resolution, which means that what we have agreed will not happen. And then all what I'm asking is to include our amendment to keep it as it is. Is that a difficulty? I don't think so. Keep it as it is. That's all what I'm asking. Thank you.
How should we handle this? I mean, we can vote on this.
Colleagues, order please. Order please. Order please. I would ask legal counsel to explain once more, and I propose, let's see, and I hope to move. Okay? So legal counsel, please try again.
Nothing we do in respect of the Saudi Arabian and Emiro amendment proposals can affect the decision that we've already made to include the Mexican amendment deleting the glossary from the version of the strategy that we consider at the end of this evening. So even if we were to vote again on the first part of the Saudi Arabian proposal to have another vote on the glossary, it would make no difference to what we do at the end of this evening. We will be considering the resolution with the, in respect of the glossary, I mean, we will be considering the resolution with the Mexican proposal, which we have agreed included. So the version of the strategy that we will look at the end of this evening will not have the glossary in. So if we were to look at the Saudi Arabian proposal to delete the glossary, it can have no effect because that glossary will already be deleted in the version that we consider at the end of the evening. Even if, and it makes no difference one way or the other, because that is what we will look at the end of the evening. So there is no point in doing it. Now, if the committee wanted nonetheless to vote on it, it would have no effect, and that's why the chair proposed that since the substance of the first part of the amendments proposed by Saudi Arabia have already in effect been adopted by adopting them as part of the Mexican proposal, that we should confine ourselves to voting on those parts of the Saudi Arabian proposal that have not yet been adopted. And those are two of the three parts, because the first part has implicitly been adopted through the Mexican amendments.
So thank you very much for your explanation. I have asked whether anyone would like to against for voting by raising placard. I see none. Therefore, let us start voting process. Legal counsel, would you like to do the same to lead out? Okay, I give floor to legal counsel.
Thank you. Yes, for the record, I'll just clarify that a vote has been requested on the Saudi Arabian EMRO amendments, as we have just discussed. The voting will be conducted by way of a show of hands. Before the voting begins, delegations will be invited to identify which member of their delegation will cast the vote. As voting is opened, the chair will invite delegations to raise their nameplates if they wish to vote in favour of the Saudi Arabia and EMRO amendments. The chair will then invite delegations to raise their nameplates if they wish to vote against the amendments. And finally, the chair will invite delegations to raise their nameplates if they wish to abstain. It is important that delegations keep their nameplates raised until the chair indicates that they may be lowered, and this is to ensure that the Secretariat is able to accurately carry out the counting. If you lower your nameplate sooner, as I said before, your vote may not be counted. The Secretariat will keep a record of the number of votes in favour of and against the proposal, as well as the number of abstentions. I've already explained how the votes will be counted by the Secretariat teams. I won't explain that again unless you wish me to do so. After all member states entitled to vote and wishing to do so have voted, there will be a short pause while the votes are collated before the chair announces the results. And again, I would like to recall that delegations wishing to make brief statements of explanation of vote will have an opportunity to do so after the result has been announced. So, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So before I proceed, so before I proceed, I need to read out the names again.
Okay, I should invite legal counsel again to read the name of those members that are not entitled to vote.
Just in case any of them have come in while we've been discussing, I will briefly read out the name of those members who are not entitled to vote. It's Afghanistan, Comoros, Equatorial Guinea, Gambia, Somalia, South Sudan, Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, Yemen, Niue, Myanmar, and Solomon Islands. These member states will not, are kindly requested not to raise their nameplates during the voting.
Thank you, legal counsel. I think there are exchange of question and answers with regards to the conduct of the vote. I trust there is no more request of clarification.
Okay. Could you ask the Secretariat to take up?
Yes, Secretariat, could you mind to take up the positions?
So now you can declare voting is open.
I think Secretariat are ready. I therefore declare that voting is opened on the Saudi Arabian amendment. I declare that voting is opened. Those delegations wishing to vote in favor of Saudi Arabian amendment, please raise your nameplates and keep them raised until I give signals to lower them. Please raise placard those who in favor. Thank you very much. You may lower your nameplates. I now invite those delegations wishing to vote against. I invite those delegations wishing to vote against. Please raise your nameplates and keep them raised until I give signal to lower them.
Yeah, we're good.
Thank you. You may lower your nameplates. I now invite those delegations wishing to abstain. Those delegations wishing to abstain, please raise your nameplates and keep them raised until I signal to lower them. I'm inviting abstention.
Okay, let's see. Yeah. Just wait a second. Yes, we're good.
Thank you very much. You may lower your nameplates.
Yes, I declare.
I declare the voting is closed. The Secretariat will now proceed to collect the votes. This process may take some time, and I'd like our delegates to remain seated.
This is number 2.
Thank you.
This is number 1.
I have the result. Number of members with the writing vote, 183. Number of members absent or present but not voting, 96. Number of members present and voting, 76. Number of abstention, 11. Number of votes in favor, 27. Number of votes against, 49. Therefore, the amendment is rejected by 49 votes to 27 with 11 abstention.
Okay.
This concludes this vote. Thank you. Shall we go to someone for?
Sorry?
For
We do the final one now. as amended.
Thank you. So far, we have adopted, approved.
We have accepted.
We have accepted Mexican amendments, and we declined accepting Saudi Arabian amendments. And now I would put forward for consider the draft resolution EB 150 R3 with Mexican amendments. Is this committee ready to approve by consensus? I recognize Egypt. Excuse me. Egypt, you have the floor.
Unfortunately, Mr. Chair, we are not in a position to accept the strategy as is. Thank you.
Thank you. As I understand that you disagree with accept by consensus. Therefore, we would need to go for voting. And I'm asking you whether we can vote by raising a placard. Is there anyone? Egypt, you have the floor.
Egypt asking for a roll call vote, Your Excellency.
Roll call vote is requested by Egypt. Legal Counsel, would you mind to explain how to deal with this request by honorable delegates of Egypt?
Are we ready to go? All right.
Legal Counsel.
Thank you.
Order, please.
Thank you. As I explained earlier, if a delegation requests a roll call vote, then we proceed by roll call vote. So that is what we will do. The Secretariat is just preparing now to do that. Let me explain to you how the roll call vote will be taken. In accordance with Rule 74, the roll call must be taken in the English or French alphabetical order of the names of members in alternate years. This year, the roll call will be taken in the French alphabetical order, and before the voting begins, delegations will be invited to decide and to identify which member of their delegation will cast the vote. Once the voting begins, member states entitled to vote will be called one by one to vote. They will be called in the French alphabetical order, starting with a letter that will be drawn in a moment by our chair. As is customary, when delegations are called, they should reply yes if they wish to vote in favour of the adoption of the resolution, draft resolution as amended. Delegations should reply no if they wish to vote against the adoption of the resolution as amended. They should declare abstention if they wish to abstain in the vote. When all member states entitled to vote have been called on the first call, a second roll call will follow. Those member states whose votes were not cast during the first roll call will again be called in the same order. Please note that those delegations that for whatever reason do not cast a vote on the first or second round of the roll call will be recorded as absent. And just as a point of clarification, given the earlier question, that will include those who are present in the room but do not answer the call. The chair will declare the voting closed and the votes will be counted, after which the chair will announce the results of the vote. In accordance with Rule 75 of the Rules of Procedure, the vote of each member participating in the roll call will be inserted into the record of the meeting. I'd like to recall that delegations wishing to make brief statements consisting of an explanation of vote will be given an opportunity to do so after the result has been announced. And I'd also like to recall that once the beginning of voting has been announced, no one may interrupt the voting except on a point of order in connection with the actual conduct of the vote. I will now invite the Chair to draw a letter to indicate where we will start in the roll call. Mr. Chairman. Have we got the list? You can tell me who.
F.
F. The letter F has been called, and therefore the vote will begin with the Russian Federation. I now read the names of those members who are not entitled to vote. This is Afghanistan, Comoros, Equatorial Guinea, Gambia, Somalia, South Sudan, Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, Yemen, Niue, Myanmar, and the Solomon Islands. The member states just mentioned will not be called during the roll call vote. So any questions?
Are there any questions? There appear to be no questions, so we shall proceed as set out by the Legal Counsel. It is so decided. Before we do so, let me remind you that once voting has begun, no delegate may interrupt the voting except on the point of order in connection with the actual conduct of voting. Please ensure that any concern relating to the conduct of voting is raised through a point of order before the result of the vote is announced. Am I clear? Okay. Thank you. I therefore declare that voting is opened. Delegations will be called upon to vote following the French alphabetical order, starting from F. Yes, I give the floor to.
Thank you, Chair. We'll start from the je vais commencer par la fédération.
I'll start with the Russian Federation.
Fédération de Russie.
Russian Federation. The Russian Federation abstains.
De Russie, abstention.
The Russian Federation abstains. Fiji.
Fiji.
Fiji, yes.
Fiji, oui.
Fiji, yes. Finland.
Oui.
Finland, yes. France. France, yes. France, yes. Gabon. Gabon? Gabon, absent. Georgia.
Georgie, oui.
Georgia, yes. Ghana.
Ghana.
Ghana. Ghana, absent. Greece.
Grèce.
Greece. Greece. Grenada. Greece, absent. Grenada.
Grenade.
Grenada. Grenada, absent. Guatemala.
Guatemala, sí.
Guatemala, yes. Guinea. Guinea. Guinea, absent. Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau, absent. Guyana. Guyana. Guyana, absent. Haiti. Haiti. Haiti, absent. Honduras. Honduras. Honduras, absent. Hungary. Hungary.
Hongrie, absent.
Hungary, absent. The Cook Islands. Cook Islands. The Cook Islands are absent. Marshall Islands. The Marshall Islands. The Marshall Islands absent. India. India. India absent. Indonesia.
Abstention.
Indonésie,
Indonesia abstains. The Islamic Republic of Iran.
République,
Islamic Republic of Iran abstains. Iraq.
Irak,
Iraq abstains. Ireland.
Ireland, yes.
Irlande,
Ireland, yes. Iceland. Iceland. Iceland is absent. Israel.
Israël,
Israel, yes. Italy.
Italie,
Italy, yes. Jamaica.
Jamaica abstains.
Jamaïque,
Jamaica abstains. Japan.
Japan, yes.
Japon,
Japan, yes. Jordan.
Abstention.
Jordanie,
Jordan abstains. Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan,
Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is absent. Kenya.
yes. Kenya,
Kenya, yes. Kyrgyzstan.
Kyrgyzstan,
Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan absent. Kiribati.
Kiribati,
Kiribati.
Kiribati,
Kiribati absent. Kuwait.
Kuwait, Kuwait,
Kuwait absent. Lesotho.
Lesotho,
Lesotho abstains. Lithuania.
Lettonie,
Lithuania.
Lettonie, absent.
Lithuania abstains. Lebanon.
Liban, Liban, absent.
Lebanon abstains. Liberia.
Liberia,
Liberia. Liberia abstains. Libya.
Libya, لا. Libya, no.
Libye,
Libya, no. Lithuania.
Lituanie,
Lithuania.
Lituanie,
Lithuania absent. Luxembourg.
Luxembourg,
Luxembourg, yes. North Macedonia.
Macédoine du Nord,
North Macedonia.
Macédoine du Nord, absent.
North Macedonia absent. Madagascar. Madagascar. Madagascar absent. Malaysia.
Abstention. Malaisie,
Malaysia abstains. Malawi. Malawi. Malawi abstains. The Maldives.
Maldives,
The Maldives abstains. Mali.
Mali,
Mali. Mali abstains. Malta.
yes. Malte,
Malta, yes.
Maroc,
Morocco.
Ma-
Morocco abstention. Mauritius. Mauritius. Mauritius absent. Mauritania. Mauritania abstains. Mexico. Mexico, yes. Federal States of Micronesia. Federal States of Micronesia. Federal States of Micronesia, absent. Monaco. Monaco, yes. Mongolia. Mongolia. Mongolia, absent. Montenegro. Montenegro. Montenegro, absent. Mozambique. Mozambique. Mozambique, absent. Namibia.
Yes.
Namibia, yes. Nauru.
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 Nauru,
Nauru, absent. Nepal. Nepal. Nepal, absent. Nicaragua. Nicaragua. Nicaragua, absent. Niger. Niger. Niger, absent. Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Nigeria, abstention. Norway.
Norvège.
Norway, yes. New Zealand.
Yes.
New Zealand, yes. Oman.
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 Absent.
Oman, absent. Uganda. Uganda. Uganda, absent. Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan, absent. Pakistan. Pakistan, abstains. Palau. Palau. Palau, absent. Panama. Panama, yes. Papua New Guinea.
Papua New Guinea, yes.
Papua New Guinea, yes. Paraguay.
Sí.
Paraguay, yes. Netherlands.
Oui.
The Netherlands, yes. Peru. Peru, yes. Philippines. The Philippines. Philippines, absent. Poland. Poland, yes. Portugal. Portugal, yes.
قطر امتناع.
Qatar abstains. Qatar abstains.
Qatar abstains. Syrian Arab Republic.
The Republic of Syria of Arab Republic abstains from voting.
Arab Syrian Republic abstain. Central African Republic. Central African Republic. Central African Republic. Absent. Republic of Korea. The Republic of Korea. Republic of Korea, absent. The Democratic Republic of the Congo. Democratic Republic of the Congo. Democratic Republic of the Congo, absent. Democratic Republic of Laos. The People's Democratic Republic of Laos. The People's Democratic Republic of Laos, absent. Moldova. The Republic of Moldova.
Yes.
The Republic of Moldova, yes. The Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic, yes. Popular Democratic Republic of Korea. People's Democratic Republic of Korea. People's Democratic Republic of Korea. People's Democratic Republic of Korea, absent. Czech Republic.
Yes. République.
Czech Republic, yes. The United Republic of Tanzania.
République.
United Republic of Tanzania, abstention. Romania.
Oui. Roumanie.
Romania, yes. United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
Hey, yes.
United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, yes. Rwanda?
Yes.
Rwanda, yes. St. Lucia?
Sainte Lucie.
St. Lucia? St. Lucia, absent. St. Kitts and Nevis? St. Kitts and Nevis? St. Kitts and Nevis, absent. Samaran? Samaran? Samaran, absent. St. Vincent and the Grenadines? St. Vincent and the Grenadines? Absent. Samoa? Samoa? Samoa, absent. Sao Tome and Principe? Sao Tome and Principe? Sao Tome and Principe, absent. Senegal? Senegal, no. Serbia? Serbia? Serbia, absent. The Seychelles? Seychelles? The Seychelles, absent. Sierra Leone? Sierra Leone? Sierra Leone, absent. Singapore? Singapore, yes. Slovakia?
Yes.
Slovakia, yes. Slovenia?
Yes.
Slovenia, yes. Sudan?
Sudan.
Sudan? Sudan, absent. Sri Lanka? Sri Lanka? Sri Lanka, absent. Sweden? Sweden, yes. Switzerland? Switzerland, yes.
Oui. La Suisse, oui.
Switzerland, yes. Suriname? Suriname? Suriname, absent. Tajikistan? Tajikistan? Tajikistan, absent. Chad? Chad, abstention. Thailand?
Thailand.
Thailand, abstention. Timor-Leste?
Yes.
Timor-Leste, yes. Togo? Togo? Togo, absent. Tonga? Tonga? Tonga, absent. Trinidad and Tobago? Trinidad and Tobago? Trinidad and Tobago, absent. Tunisia? Tunisia, abstention. Turkmenistan? Turkmenistan? Turkmenistan, absent. Turkey? Turkey, abstention. Tuvalu? Tuvalu? Tuvalu, absent. Ukraine? Ukraine? Ukraine, absent. Uruguay?
Uruguay, sí.
Uruguay, yes. Vanuatu? Vanuatu? Vanuatu, absent. Vietnam? Vietnam? Vietnam, absent. The Zambia? Zambia. Zambia absent. Zimbabwe.
Abstention.
Zimbabwe abstention.
Zimbabwe, abstention. Afrique du Sud.
South Africa. Yes. Albania. Albania. Albania abstention. Algeria.
Algérie, abstention.
Algeria abstention. Germany.
Oui.
Germany, yes. Andorra. Andorra. Andorra absent. Angola. Angola abstains. Antigua and Barbuda. Antigua and Barbuda. Antigua and Barbuda absent. Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia abstention. Argentina.
Si.
Argentina, yes. Armenia. Armenia. Armenia absent. Australia. Australia. Australia absent. Austria.
Australia, yes.
Australia, yes. Austria.
Austria, yes.
Autriche.
Austria, yes. Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan absent. The Bahamas.
Bahamas.
Bahamas. Bahamas absent. Bahrain. Bahrain. Bahrain absent. Bangladesh.
Abstention.
Bangladesh abstention. Barbados.
Barbade.
Barbados.
Barbade.
Barbados, yes. Belarus. Belarus. Belarus absent. Belgium.
Oui.
Belgium, yes. Belize. Belize. Belize absent. Benin. Benin. Benin absent. Bhutan. Bhutan. Bhutan absent. Plurinational state of Bolivia. Plurinational state of Bolivia, yes. Bosnia-Herzegovina. Bosnia-Herzegovina. Bosnia and Herzegovina absent. Botswana.
Yes.
Botswana, yes. Brazil.
Brazil, yes.
Brazil, yes. Brunei Darussalam. Brunei Darussalam.
Darussalam absent.
Brunei Darussalam absent. Bulgaria.
Bulgarie, oui.
Bulgaria, yes. Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso abstention. Burundi.
Burundi.
Burundi. Burundi absent. Cabo Verde. Cabo Verde. Cabo Verde absent. Cambodia. Cambodia. Cambodia absent. Cameroon. Cameroon abstention. Canada. Canada, yes. Chile.
Chile, si.
Chile, oui.
Chile, yes. China?
中国弃权。
China abstention. China abstention.
Abstention.
China abstention. Cyprus?
Yes.
Cyprus, yes. Colombia?
Si.
Colombia, yes.
Congo.
The Congo?
Congo.
The Congo? The Congo, absent. Costa Rica? Costa Rica, yes. Côte d'Ivoire? Côte d'Ivoire? Côte d'Ivoire, absent. Croatia? Croatia, yes. Cuba?
Cuba, sí.
Cuba, yes. Denmark?
Yes.
Denmark, yes. Djibouti?
Abstention.
Djibouti, abstention. Dominica? Dominica? Dominica, absent. Egypt?
Égypte.
Egypt, abstention. El Salvador? El Salvador? El Salvador, abstention. United Arab Emirates? United Arab Emirates? United Arab Emirates, absent. Ecuador? Ecuador, yes. Ecuador, yes. Eritrea? Eritrea? Eritrea, absent. Spain?
España, sí.
Spain, yes. Estonia?
Yes.
Estonia, yes. Eswatini?
Yes.
Eswatini, yes. United States of America?
Yes.
United States of America, yes. Ethiopia? Ethiopia? Ethiopia, absent.
Yes. Would you mind go for second round?
Donc je vais
I will call again the delegations that were absent during the first round. I will start with Gabon. Gabon. Gabon, absent. Ghana. Ghana. Ghana, absent. Greece. Greece. Greece, absent. Grenada. Grenada. Absent. Guinea. Guinea. Absent. Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau, absent. Guyana. Guyana. Absent. Haiti. Haiti. Haiti, absent. Honduras. Honduras. Honduras, absent. Hungary. Hungary. Hungary, absent. Cook Islands. Cook Islands. Cook Islands, absent. Marshall Islands. Marshall Islands. Absent. India. India. India absent. Iceland. Iceland. Iceland absent. Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan absent. Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan absent. Kiribati. Kiribati. Kiribati absent. Kuwait. Kuwait. Kuwait absent. Lithuania. Lithuania. Latvia absent. Lebanon. Lebanon. Absent. Liberia. Liberia. Liberia absent. Lithuania. Lithuania. Lithuania absent. North Macedonia. Macedonia. North Macedonia. Absent. Madagascar. Madagascar. Madagascar absent. Malawi. Malawi. Malawi absent. Mali. Mali. Absent. Mauritius. Mauritius. Absent. Federated States of Micronesia. Federated States of Micronesia. Absent. Mongolia. Mongolia. Absent. Montenegro. Montenegro. Absent. Mozambique. Mozambique. Absent. Nauru. Nauru. Absent. Nepal. Nepal. Absent. Nicaragua. Nicaragua. Absent. Niger. Niger. Niger absent. Oman. Oman. Absent. Uganda. Uganda. Absent. Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan absent. Palau. Palaus. Absent. The Philippines. The Philippines. Absent. Central African Republic. Central African Republic. Central African Republic absent. Republic of Korea. Republic of Korea. Absent. Democratic Republic of Congo. Democratic Republic of Congo. Democratic Republic of Congo. Absent. People's Democratic Republic of Laos. People's Democratic Republic of Laos. Absent. Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Absent. St. Lucia. St. Lucia. Absent. St. Kitts and Nevis. St. Kitts and Nevis. Absent. Saint Maron. Saint Marino. Saint Marino absent. Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. Absent. Samoa. Samoa. Sao Tome and Principe. Sao Tome and Principe. Absent. Serbia. Serbia. Absent. Seychelles. Seychelles. Absent. Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone. Absent. Sudan. Sudan. Absent. Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka. Absent. Suriname. Suriname. Absent. Tajikistan. Tajikistan. Absent. Togo. Togo. Togo absent. Tonga. Tonga. Absent. Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago. Absent. Turkmenistan. Turkmenistan. Turkmenistan absent. Tuvalu. Tuvalu. Tuvalu absent. Ukraine. Ukraine. Ukraine absent. Vanuatu. Vanuatu. Vanuatu absent. Vietnam. Vietnam. Absent. Zambia. Zambia. Absent. Albania.
No.
Oh, okay.
Albanie.
Albania. Absent. Honduras.
Ah, okay. So, mes excuses.
I apologize. Albania had abstained during the first round. Andorra. Andorra. Andorra absent. Antigua and Barbuda. Antigua and Barbuda. Absent. Armenia. Armenia. Armenia absent. Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan. Absent. Bahamas. Bahamas. Absent. Bahrain. Bahrain. Absent. Belarus. Belarus. Belarus absent. Belize. Belize. Absent. Benin. Benin. Absent. Bhutan. Bhutan, absent. Bosnia and Herzegovina, Bosnia and Herzegovina, absent. Brunei Darussalam, Brunei Darussalam, absent. Burundi, 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 absent. Cabo Verde, Cabo Verde, absent. Cambodia, Cambodia, absent. Congo, Congo, absent. Côte d'Ivoire, Côte d'Ivoire, absent. Dominica, Dominica, absent. El Salvador, El Salvador, El Salvador, absent. United Arab Emirates, United Arab Emirates, United Arab Emirates, absent. Eritrea, 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 absent. Ethiopia, 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 absent.
May I check that all delegations entitled to vote and wishing to do so have cast a vote? I see none. Therefore, I declare that voting is closed. The Secretariat now count and verify the votes. This process may take some time, and I would like you to remain seated. Thank you very much. Delegates, thank you very much for your patience. Now I have the result. I read number of members with the right to vote, 183. Number of delegations absent and present but not voting, 90. Number of abstentions, 30. Number of members present and voting, 63. Number of votes in favor, 61. Number of votes against, 2. Therefore, the resolution is approved as amended by 61 votes to 2 with 30 abstentions. Am I clear to you? Thank you very much. So that is the result. Who takes the floor for explanations of vote? Nigeria, you have the floor, and followed by Egypt. Nigeria, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Nigeria would like to make a statement that we want to be put on record, regardless of what has been the outcome of the voting on the GHSS. We want it to be on record that Nigeria dissociates itself from the following terms and phrases used in the text: sexual orientation, transgender, men who have sex with men, noting who technical guidance on page 24, Action 1, Section 321, including international technical standards on comprehensive sexuality education. In the same section, Nigeria would want the above position to be reflected in the records as appropriate. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Next speaker is Egypt, followed by Monaco. Egypt, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Also, as an explanation of voting, Egypt was and still support the work of the WHO. In principle, Egypt support the proposed strategy. Unfortunately, the insistence to include non-consensual terminology in those strategies and the language that was never agreed before through intergovernmental process forced us to not to be in a position to accept the strategy and the terminology that has been included in it. We will do our best to implement the relevant strategy according to our national legislations and context. To conclude, Mr. Chair, we wish that we have reached a consensus, and through accepting the positions of relevant and different regions and taking into consideration their positions and their backgrounds. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Next speaker is Monaco, followed by Jordan. Monaco, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I want to take the floor to express our profound sadness concerning this process. We were forced to vote, although the results of various voting show that we could have reached an agreement on the basis of the proposal by Mexico, and several hours ago. We consider this deeply disappointing, and we think this will have consequences in the future because of the precedent created. I, however, would like to thank Mexico for its efforts to try to reach a consensus. We welcome the adoption of the strategy. Thank you.
Thank you. I give floor to Jordan, followed by Indonesia. Jordan, you have the floor.
شكرا سيد الرئيس.
أن الأردن بشكل عام يدعم.
Thank you, Chair. Jordan supports the strategies and attached importance to supporting global health, in particular HIV, viral hepatitis, and sexually transmitted infections, as mentioned in the strategies. We abstained because we insist in terms of the use of the terminology on which we didn't agree. We are also convinced that taking away this terminology does not change much and that we could have resolved this problem. I thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Indonesia, followed by Iraq. Indonesia, you have the floor.
President, it is regrettable that the proposed global strategy before us leads to no consensus. In this regard, my delegation would like to make the following points. Concepts and strategies presented in the global health sector strategies should take into account member states' national context, adjusted to suit the regional and local context. Only through understanding national context, as well as cultural backgrounds, and the utilizations of the agreed terms, the strategies will get most member state support and ensure success in its implementations and benefits all elements of the target population. Such considerations should be upheld by the Secretariat and partners in the implementation of the global health sector strategies, as well as in the future formulation of relevant strategies. We request this explanation of vote will be included in the minutes of the meeting. I thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Iraq, followed by France. Iraq, you have the floor.
شكرا سيادة الرئيس. في الوقت اللي
Thank you, Chair. Iraq has implemented strategies and studied the details of its strategies very closely. We support these strategies in the closest details, but we abstained because some of the paragraphs cited in the strategy do not take into account the cultures, customs, and religions practiced in the member countries. We hope that these considerations will be taken into account in future. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. Next speaker is France, followed by Syrian Arab Republic. France, you have the floor.
Merci, Monsieur.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, Director General, ladies and gentlemen, heads of delegations, colleagues, I will speak on behalf of the European Union and its member states. The discussion that we have had the past couple of days concerns very important topics. It is very important for each state and each group of states to be able to express its opinion. We thank you for the transparency, the openness with which you have conducted the work, Director General. We thank you for your commitment, expertise, support on the various topics of the discussion, and we help all the delegations that have worked towards finding a solution. We at the European Union would have hoped for a consensus on these matters. We've already given our opinion. The strategy that the Secretariat submitted to our approval is based on a strategy for the more vulnerable groups and efficient approaches to fight for them. And we regret that due to a couple of countries and groups of countries, we haven't reached the consensus that we wished for. And we believe it would have been regrettable to postpone this strategy further, which concerns all those concerned directly or indirectly by the illnesses considered in the resolution. So now all the countries will have to implement this strategy with the support of the Secretariat. It's very important for those who are ill, for the people at risk, for all the healthcare agents, and for world health. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker is Syrian Arab Republic, followed by United States of America. Syrian Arab Republic, floor is yours.
شكرا السيد الرئيس.
Thank you, Chair. Syria attaches great importance to the world strategy on HIV, viral hepatitis, and sexually transmitted infections. We have deployed many efforts at national level in this regard. However, we would like to express our frustration at not reaching a consensus on the strategy. Some delegations stuck to their positions and did not take the concerns expressed by others into account. Without the situation, we could have reached a consensus. We would have liked to agree on the strategies that would be satisfactory to all. We, however, would like to respond and adjust the strategy to our national priorities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have still quite long list, so would you mind to focus on your explanation of both, please? Next speaker is United States of America, followed by Djibouti. United States of America, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. I know it's late for everyone, and I'm grateful for the floor. We appreciate those member states acting in good faith as part of these deliberations. Unfortunately, this has served as a painful reminder of the need to reinforce our focus on evidence, human dignity, and decency. We should not need to hold a vote on the existence of entire communities of people. We have a strategy on critically important global health issues, yes, but at what cost to those we risk leaving behind? So, to gay, lesbian, bisexual, queer, intersex, transgender, and gender nonconforming people around the world who face constant discrimination, stigma, and violence because of who you are in love, the United States government sees you and will continue to support you. Stay strong.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I have the following list, and I would like to close the list. Let's suspend 5 minutes. Straight to the exit. We will start in 5 minutes. Microphone is back. Microphone is back. So let us resume the session. I have the following list and I'm going to close. Djibouti, United Kingdom, Pakistan, Canada, Bangladesh, Norway. Can you hear me? So this is no. Okay, not yes. No, okay. So let's wait a little bit more. Now it seems working. You can hear me? Thank you. So I read the list of speakers who are requesting to explain their voting positions, explanation of vote. Please limit yourself and very shortly because we are mindful about time. It's very late. Djibouti, UK, Pakistan, Canada, Bangladesh, and Norway. Then list is closed. Thank you. May I invite Djibouti, followed by United Kingdom. Djibouti, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Djibouti would like to exercise explanation of vote after the vote. My delegation would like to start by thanking WHO and all delegations for their tireless efforts to reach consensus on the global health sector strategy on respectively HIV, viral hepatitis, and sexually transmitted infection under Agenda 14.2. My delegation regrets that negotiations on the resolution and the strategy just considered and adopted by vote were not conducive to a consensus. Our collective wisdom tonight was elusive and division prevailed. It is regrettable that further consultations on the strategy was not considered, particularly in this late hour where many delegations were absent from the room. My delegation believes it is incumbent upon all delegations and all other stakeholders involved in formulating such strategies in the future to strive to garner the consensus and collective political support needed to move forward and implement the provisions of similar strategies. Processes and procedures should be respected and should be more inclusive. My delegation abstained on the proposal under consideration and wishes to reaffirm the sovereign right of each country to implement the provisions and recommendations of the global health sector strategy on respectively HIV, viral hepatitis, and sexually transmitted infections. Henceforth, my country will implement the strategy provisions for key population in need, consistent with national laws and development priorities, with full respect for the various religious and ethical values and cultural background of its people, and in conformity with universally recognized international human rights. Djibouti continues to support the work of the WHO and hope in future guidance from member states will be consensus-based, and I requested that it will be reflected, my statement reflected in the report of the Assembly. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is the United Kingdom, followed by Pakistan. United Kingdom.
Thank you, Chair. The UK would like to thank you for being an excellent chair through this difficult process and for the patience of member states. However, the UK is disappointed that as a World Health Assembly, it took a vote to reach agreement on this strategy. This places a really unhelpful precedent on how we approach agreement of a technical strategy. WHO technical documents must be based on the best evidence and the best science. And I think the struggle we have had today serves as a really timely reminder that we should be approaching these documents in the spirit of recognizing the role that WHO must play in convening the best evidence, the best science, and setting out that in a technical guidance document. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Pakistan, followed by Canada. Pakistan, you have the floor.
Mr. Chair, we thank the Secretariat for holding such lengthy informal consultation on the agenda. We also appreciate efforts of the member states for their constructive efforts for finding consensus. However, it is unfortunate that we could not reach mutually acceptable solution and went through such lengthy voting process. Mr. Chair, we regret the fact that the language and terminology used within the different parts of the strategy is not universally accepted and consensus-based. My country expressed its concern regarding these non-consensual terminology, especially sexual orientation, sexual rights, comprehensive sexuality education, etc. We, however, will fully cooperate in its implementation, keeping in view our cultural and national context. I thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Canada, followed by Bangladesh. Canada, you have the floor.
Good evening. Reaching consensus was very important to Canada, and we recognize that we are not the only ones in this room in this position. We thank our colleagues for efforts to find a path forward towards consensus, and we deeply regret the Assembly has had to come to a vote. Canada supported the Mexican proposal because it elegantly addressed multiple concerns of many member states, including our own. The global health sector strategies are critical because we cannot afford to leave further behind the populations living with HIV, viral hepatitis, and STIs. Merci.
Thank you. Next speaker is Bangladesh, followed by the last speaker, Norway. Bangladesh, you have the floor.
Mr. Chair, it is unfortunate that the voting took place in such an important document. Bangladesh put yes to Mexican proposal to affirm that this document is important and we should support it. And then again, Bangladesh put yes to KSA and EMRO proposal to affirm that we don't support non-consensual terms which are not agreed in the United Nations intergovernmental negotiations among the member states. And he affirmed that these strategies will be implemented with the national legislation of our country. We'd request you to put this in record. Thank you.
Thank you. Last speaker is Norway. You have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. I delivered a statement on behalf of Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Latvia, and Estonia. Although we would have preferred that the strategy was adopted by the WHA as it was presented, we supported the compromise proposal in order to reach an agreement on this life-saving strategy. We regret that the WHA has had to negotiate and vote on a technical global health sector strategy presented by the Secretariat. We find this most unfortunate, but we congratulate the WHA for making sure that the WHO and member states now can implement the best evidence-based guidance to tackle HIV, viral hepatitis, and sexually transmitted infections. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we are ready to consider the seventh and final report of Committee A. In the absence of our rapporteur, I shall give the floor to our Vice Chair, Dr. Gavnina, who will lead the report in question. Dr. Gavnina, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Seventh report of Committee A draft. Committee A held its 15th meeting on 28 May 2022, chaired by Dr. Hiroki Nakatani, Japan. It was decided to recommend the 75th World Health Assembly the adoption of the attached resolution relating to the following agenda item. Pillar 1. 1 billion more people benefiting from universal health coverage. Point 14. Review of and update on matters considered by the Executive Board. 14.2, the global health sector strategies on, respectively, HIV, viral hepatitis, and sexually transmitted infections. One resolution as amended. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Is the committee willing to adopt this report as read out? Are there any objections? I see none. Therefore, the report is adopted. Thank you very much. Before closing our meeting, I would like to give floor to China to exercise right of reply. China, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will be very brief. With the general support of member states, this assembly has once again rejected discussion of the Taiwan-related proposal. However, a handful of countries continue irresponsibly with the hyping up of the Taiwan-related issue, which seriously violates UN and WHO resolutions and undermines the solidarity and common interests of member states. China firmly opposes it, and China has elaborated our position multiple times previously. Due to time constraint, I will not repeat them here. We hope countries concerned will adopt a responsible attitude and stay committed to the One China principle contained in UNGA Resolution 2758 and WHA Resolution 25.1. I thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, China. Honorable delegates, Secretariat, ladies and gentlemen, our journey is coming to an end. Before closing Committee A, I have been listening to more than 600 contributions. It's my turn to speak a little bit. But don't worry, I don't speak for 600 minutes. I give myself less than 2 minutes. Because I would like to just thank my vice chairs, rapporteur, and excellent secretariat support, and wonderful delegations to journey with us, with me, a long, long journey. But finally, we came to the destination. And now I remember vividly what my mentor told me. The secret of successful closing remarks. That is 3S. Short, short, short. I thank you. Now, thank you. Thank you very much. The last meeting of Committee A is now closed. Thank you. So I thought I finished my duty, but I was told that I need to announce that plenary will be organized here. So please remain seated. Plenary is here. Thank you very much. Thank you, DG, for support.